Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 most realistic looking vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online compared to their real life counterparts. So obviously all these cars are going to be based off of something in real life and resemble it very, very well. Rockstar's copyright infringement team is getting pretty good these days. They definitely know how to infringe very well. So let's go ahead and get started with number 10. At number 10 we have the Benefactor SM722 coming in at $2.1 million. Now this is an interesting car because when it initially came into Grand Theft Auto Online, I feel like it wasn't very well received by the community. However, for those people that do know, it is based off the Mercedes SLR Sterling Moss, which is a very limited edition car. Only 75 of them are in the entire world. Mercedes made this to pay homage to Sterling Moss, who is a racing driver. And I think that Rockstar did a pretty good job with the SM722. I think it looks very similar to the real life version, but honestly I feel like it looks even maybe a little bit better in game than it actually does in real life. That's not to say it looks bad in real life, but in game I think that it just looks so good. Definitely a very cool car, some good customization. Definitely a pretty high price tag for what you're getting. It's not exactly the fastest sports car ever, but it is still pretty fun to drive around at free mode. And of course, it's very realistic looking, so I do like that. That's it for number 10. On to number 9. At number 9, we have the Obey Omni EGT, based off of the Audi e-tron GT in real life. This thing is going to cost you $1.8 million in Grand Theft Auto Online. It is a little bit on the expensive side, I would say, but there are a lot of good features that you get with the EGT that make it really worth it to actually own. The main feature is, of course, this thing has a Omni tech, which means you can put a missile lock-on jammer or the remote control device. The missile lock-on jammer, though, is infinitely more useful. You can also put armor on this thing, and it can take up to 20 RPGs when you have the armor upgrade on it, which is pretty awesome. It's got some good customization, and the performance overall in the vehicle is pretty decent. Its acceleration is basically its one real standout feature. The top speed is a little bit low, but the handling is okay for an electric car. Overall, it's a very good vehicle, a very good looking vehicle. The copyright infringement team definitely did their work with this one. Next up at number 8, we have the Tundra Panther coming in at $2.2 million. Now this car is not technically available right now in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's one of the cars that Rockstar released as drip feed but then took back to then release it again later, so that is very annoying. Now this is based off of the new Alpine A110 in real life, which is a very cool car, a very underrated car, a very underappreciated car I feel like. Renault remade the Alpine in 2017 with this new body style, and I think that it's a very good looking car. It sounds great in real life as well. In game it's got some good customization. The performance is not that spectacular, but it is certainly a very realistic looking car, which is of course how it got onto this list. At number 7 we have the overflawed Entity MT coming in at $2,355,000. This is based extremely heavily off of the Koenigsegg Jesko, or the Koenigsegg Jesko, depending on how you want to say that. The Entity MT has some good customization in game, and if you're on the expanded and enhanced edition on the PS5, Xbox Series S or X, it has an HSW upgrade as well that makes it a little bit faster. Now unfortunately the car does still suffer from engine resistance no matter what platform you're on, which makes the car slower than it should be, and the handling is a little bit worse than it otherwise would be, which does completely suck, but it is still a pretty good car. Definitely a very good looking one, and certainly a very realistic looking car as well. Next up at number 6 we have the Lampadati Corsita coming in at $1.8 million. This is based off of the new generation Maserati MC20. Now Maserati made an MC20 back in the day, I want to say in like 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. Very, very famous car, very cool looking car. Shared a lot of parts with the Ferrari Enzo, I believe. However, Maserati has since gone back and created a new edition of the MC20, which I think is pretty awesome. Definitely looks pretty good, looks very close to the Lampadati Corsita. In game, the Corsita is one of the fastest top speed sports cars in the entire game. I think it ranks as number 11 currently. However, around a circuit, it's not that fast because it does have kind of not the most ideal handling, I would say. The acceleration is okay, it has some good customization. Overall, decent performing car, and definitely a pretty realistic looking one as well. At number 5 we have the Ubermacht Reinhardt coming in at $1,600,000, and it's based on a BMW 3 Series estate. Now the cool thing about the Reinhardt is you can make it sort of into any sort of BMW 3 Series estate that you want to. You can go for a pretty aggressive look and have it be based, off of the BMW M340i estate, or you can have it based off of like a 330i or a 328i, and it still is going to look really good no matter what you do. The Reinhardt has lots of customization. It's one of the fastest sedans in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. I know technically like it's not really a sedan, but as far as GTA is concerned, it's in the sedans category. Definitely one of the faster ones. Definitely one of the more customizable ones. Overall, very good car. It is all-wheel drive as well, I should probably mention. So, very good car. Definitely one to look into if you are a fan of BMWs. At number 4, we have the Pegassi Torero XO coming in at $2.9 million. This thing is based off of the Lamborghini Countach. I believe Lamborghini made a Countach for the 40th or 50th anniversary of the original Lamborghini Countach, based on the Aventador platform, which is what the Pegassi Torero XO is heavily based off of. This car has some really great performance, as well as some really great customization. There's a lot you can do to this car. It's also one of the faster supercars in Grand Theft Auto Online. It does have a pretty high top speed of about 131 miles per hour, so as far as top speed goes in the supercar category, it is one of the faster ones. It is all-wheel drive as well. Now, its biggest drawback is that the downforce values on this car are completely broken, meaning the spoiler options don't actually add any downforce to the car. The active spoiler doesn't work, so basically there's no traction bonuses for the car. However, that's not why it's on this list. It's on this list because it looks realistic, and it's absolutely awesome at doing that. Definitely a fun car to drive, definitely a good one to have in your garage. Make sure you guys are picking up the Pegassi Torero XO. And moving on to number 3, we have the Invitero Coquette D10 coming in at $1.5 million. This is based heavily off of the Chevrolet Corvette Z8. This is one of the most realistic looking vehicles in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. Whatever Rockstar did to copyright infringe Chevrolet, with this, like, it's pretty much unmatched. They pretty much just copied the car, like, entirely. The only real difference that I can see on the D10 versus the actual C8 in real life is the side vent on the car. It's just the opposite way. On the real life car, the vent, ends at the top, like further ahead on the car, further towards the nose of the car. But in GTA, it ends behind, and the bottom of the vent is closer to the nose of the car. That's like literally the only difference between the two cars. You can even take the roof off of this thing. It's got some pretty decent performance as well. The acceleration's pretty high. The top speed is also pretty good on this thing. I'd say the handling is its biggest drawback, but even the handling is pretty good. For $1.5 mil, you really can't go wrong with a D10. I think it's one of the best cars in GTA Online, and especially if you like realistic cars, you certainly can't go wrong, as you can see. At number 2, we had the Declassi Vigoro ZX coming in at $1,950,000. This is based off the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. This is a car that I don't think you can mistake it for any other car other than the Camaro. Again, Rockstar's copyright infringement team, probably the same guy who made the D10, also made the Vigoro ZX. This thing's awesome. Looks like the real life Camaro a lot. Even the customization options for it, you can make this thing into like a ZL1 1LE if you want to. So whoever was making this thing was really paying attention to what Chevrolet is doing with the Camaro in real life. It's also got some pretty good performance. This is another car that has an HSW upgrade if you are on the PS5, Xbox Series S or X as well. And I believe it's also the fastest land vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online top speed wise with that HSW upgrade, topping out at about 157 miles per hour, which is like pretty insane. There are some bikes that are a little bit faster, but those are from a speed glitch. So I think then this is like the fastest non-glitched car in the entire game. So that's crazy. For $1,950,000, you can't go wrong with this one. Definitely pick this up if you guys are interested. And of course, the number one most realistic vehicle in all of Grand Theft Auto Online is the Obey 10F, coming in at $1.7 million, and it is of course based off of the Audi R8 V10. This was added with the Criminal Enterprises DLC back in the summer, and I remember first seeing this car in the trailer and everybody was super hyped to have a new Obey 9F in the game, but they called it the 10F for some reason. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, but anyways, it's the 10F. It looks absolutely spot on to the Audi R8 in real life. There's like nothing wrong with this thing. There's all the customization you can do is stuff that you could probably do on a real life Audi R8 V10 if you were speccing it out yourself. Obviously, some of the stuff is going to be a little bit more aftermarket, but overall, definitely a very realistic looking car in GTA Online. Rockstar's copyright infringement team, with the top 3 vehicles on this list especially, they knocked it out of the park. I think everything on this list looks super realistic, but particularly the 10F, the Vigoro, and the Coquette D10 I think that those 3 cars are just like almost perfect replicas of the ones in real life. The only thing that's really not realistic about the 10F is that this thing is rear wheel drive only. I know there is an Audi R8 RWS, I think it's called, that is the rear wheel drive edition of it, but I feel like this car would have been much more suited as an all wheel drive version because I just think that it makes more sense. But anyway, Rockstar did what they did. Anyways, still a very realistic looking car, definitely one to look into. If you guys are also interested with the 10F, you can put a wide body kit on it, which makes the car a little bit better in a lot of ways and adds more customization. So that is pretty cool. Anyway, guys, that is it for the top 10 most realistic vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know what you thought of this list in the comments down below. Let me know some other cars that are super realistic and maybe I'll make a part 2 to this. Leave a like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.